What's up, millionaires? It's your boy Millionaire E coming at you with a final review of Spider-Man 2. Now, the final review, when I call it the final review, y'all seen my baseline video. The final review is basically, I've beaten the game. I've beaten the pro campaign, and then I've played some of the side missions. So I'm going to be telling you some of the things that I liked about it, and then some of the things that I didn't like. But first, spoiler alert for anyone who's not seen the game or played the game yet. Don't want to spoil it for you because there's going to be some major spoilers. Now, let's get into it. So in talking about the story, playing the story was very, very nice because you've got Peter, Harry, Miles, Mary Jane, and you've got other characters like Craven. Now, I also do like, and excuse me, I just have a little something in my throat, but I do like how they added Agent Venom, they added Scream, and Anti-Venom. And those characters are from the comics. And if you don't know, Agent Venom is, I believe, I know him from like Ultimate Spider-Man, but he found like the Venom suit and it ended up like almost like an Iron Man suit. Now it transformed into an Iron Man suit. Scream is like a symbiote variant. I think she was born from Venom or not. But she's got like, I can't explain what she looks like because I don't want to spoil it for you, but yeah, that was really cool. And Anti-Venom simply is basically a cure for Venom. And I love how they took those characters out there and put them into the book, into the game. And then as far as I will say with the game was a little bit dark. Like there were some, like even when Peter got the Venom suit, there were some, times where that man was whamming or like beating the crap out of thugs. And then even also like there were some villains that had some off-screen deaths. Now I can't really, I don't want to spoil it for you, but I'm gonna say some villains had some on-screen and off-screen deaths, basically. It was dark. But even getting into that with the villains, that's another thing that I loved is I love how Insomniac basically, I don't know, it's like with some of the villains, they didn't remake the villains, but they more of made the villains good. Like, for example, in the first game, Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man, you know that Tombstone was a villain, basically. Now, in this game, Tombstone is actually doing good. Like, he's doing well. Like, he's basically working at a go-kart garage and he's like the mechanic. And then another thing, even with Lee, and if y'all know who Lee is basically Mr. Negative, but we're just gonna say Mr. Negative started out as a villain in the game because, and what's interesting is Mr. Negative's story was kind of wrapped around Miles' story. Because if y'all didn't know, in the first game, when Mr. Negative was trying to prove a point, he basically did something where he blew up a stage. And that was when Miles' father was getting a medal, and it basically killed Miles' father. So therefore, Miles has a bit of a revenge on him. But what's cool is you could tell that he wanted to protect his family from Mr. Negative, but the thing is it was more of he wanted to get revenge on Mr. Negative. For what I saw, because I was like, Mr. Negative, and what's interesting is Mr. Negative didn't, blatantly go out and try to kill Miles, his father. What he did was it was collateral damage, only because Mr. Negative was trying to get revenge himself. So it shows you what getting revenge does to a person and does to the people around you. And I like what they did with, at the end of the game, it ends up where Mr. Negative is actually helping Peter and Miles in the game. And I won't tell you what he does, but it's really cool. And as far as also Mysterio is concerned, Mysterio, I could say he's still a villain, but I don't know if he's either still a villain or not. You gotta play his mission. Now, I will say, like, getting into that, the boss battles were amazing. But one of my favorite boss battles was Mysterio's. And the reason why is, if y'all don't know who Mysterio is, he's like the master of illusions. So he'll create things that seem unseen. And there are these challenges around in these things called the Mysteriums, and you're doing all these different challenges. They're similar to the screwball challenges almost. And what's cool is when you get into the final fight with Mysterio, the first place you're fighting him in is in a snow globe. So it's like you're so small, and then you see big old Mysterio holding the snow globe, and there's a mini-sized Mysterio inside snow globe that you're fighting. So it's like it's basically a toy land that you're fighting Mysterio in. Now it's not real, of course, because he does illusions, but it's cool to see that. And then also, what happens is you're swinging through like a city where buildings are kind of coming into each other. And then the last place you're fighting on islands, which is really, really cool. That was my favorite boss. And I will say the bosses were hard. Like Venom's boss fight, Venom and Kraven, let's just say Venom and Kraven were on something in their fights. Now, we're getting into the last two parts. Now, the one thing is I don't know if y'all saw, but in the trailer, of course, they were showing these spider bots that gave off this weird type of signal. Now, and some people, if they've seen, the Spider-Verse, they might be like, hey, look, that's, the Across the Spider-Verse. So in playing that game, in playing Spider-Man 2, what I ended up finding was the spider bots were from basically the Spider-Verse, of course. Now, what I liked about it was each spider bot that you found either was a variant of a villain or a character. For example, you had a Joe Jonah Jameson, and then you might have had like a Vulture or a Rhino. But then there were also variants of Spider-Man that were put into those spider bots. So you would have like a Spider-Ham spider bot, Spider UK spider bot, Shakespeare Spider-Man spider bot. And it had like really cool, the way it looks. That was really cool. I loved that. But the thing that I didn't like is when you got all these spider bots, you would think, being that this is the Spider-Verse, that you would see a Spider-Man pop out. But instead, what happened is you see a portal that looks like that it came from like, I think the Across the Spider-Verse. It's like it's like that weird shaped portal. But when you look into it, it's this lady at a bar, and she's like, so I see you got all the spider bots. She's like, I know, if these fall into the wrong hands, these would be very, very dangerous. So then she takes them from you, and she's like, remember, if you see Miguel, tell him finders keepers. And then the portal closes, and I'm just sitting here like, what? And I have to I look it up, I look up some YouTube videos. Turns out that this lady was apparently the owner of a villains bar that was supposed to be in the movie but got cut out. And I was just like, what? Y'all could at least show me like a Spider-Man or something. And then I was like, I will say, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but the end, I was like, you know what? Honestly, y'all could do a Spider-Verse game. I wish y'all would, because that would be cool to do. Having different types of New York, going in like a Spider-Man Noir New York or like a Spider-Ham New York. That would be super cool to do. And I'm like, Insomniac, y'all can do that. I wish y'all would do it. But honestly, I was like, man, it was a nice game. Like I said, the swinging, the story, the boss battles were cool. And I really liked it. And if y'all have played the game, tell me what y'all thought about it. And if y'all didn't, buy a PS5 and get the game and see how it goes. Or play the game and see how you like it. And remember, y'all, like the video, share it with your fam, and if you're subscribed, hit that bell icon to be notified for more videos. And I'll see y'all in the next video, y'all. Bye, y'all. Have a blessed day, Muners. I'll see y'all later. Bye!